morning. Say morning, Andy.
Morning. Morning, Andy.
Look at his cool shades. So we're at Still Knots car park this morning by Thirlmere, and we're heading up there. You can see it. We've got the beacon up there, and the class is the Wythburn Fells, and we're planning on going up to Allscar from there, over to Standing Crag and back down through Thirlmere Forest. We're not sure on the closures at the moment. They've actually closed the road to motor vehicles from Still Knots car park now, and I know they've closed quite a few footpaths near Raven Crag because there's lots of trees down. So we might have to make it up on the way down as we go along, but I think you can get down by the Binka stone to Dobgill, I think, but we'll see.
I'll get down.
We'll get down somehow. So that's where we're heading, up there. As you can see, this is the blockade for motor vehicles, but you can, by the looks of it, get a bike and you can walk round it. We're going to head along here about 200 yards. There's a public footpath before you get to Dobgill car park. Heads up to the beacon. And that's the Wythburn Valley. That's a beautiful route up there, following the beck. Some waterfalls up to Allscar. Very boggy mine. And that's still in. So about 50 yards, 100 yards up the road from Standing Car Park. We've got this building. You take the access path. So it's here that you turn left. There is a kind of redundant post, was a public footpath sign, up by these trees. So the right hand side of the trees you go up. Look at that view. Literally 1 minute going up the hill. And that's your view of Thirlmere. Bit of a steep pull up that. Okay, so from that wall you head along a traverse path, winding its way up the steep fell side on a stony track. The track levels out a little bit here. Nice place to sit on that shelf, take that view in. As you can see, it's a good track. Great views. So we've just reached the Col. Now you're hanging left away from the wall if you're doing our route up to the beacon, and Ullscarf. If you keep to the wall, which is just there, and you can see there's a gap, there's a gate. If you go through that gate, you get down to Harrop Tarn, which is a beautiful tarn, popular for wild campers, surrounded by mountains and forests. It's lovely. It's got ducks there, you can feed the ducks. But we are going to do the beacon, so if you fancy going to Allscar on a really quiet route that's not very popular and it's off-piste, and you don't mind roughish ground, then the beacon is the way to go onto the Wythburn Fells. Follow the ridge up, off-piste, there's no path, up onto Allscar, and we'll come back down to Harrop Tarn. So this route will show you the way to do it. Huh?
She's done there when you bring
There it is, the beacon. The Wythburn Fells. Down to Harrop Tarn. Sandal, it's looking really mystical at the moment. That's Thirlmere Ways down there, and you've got Helvellyn also in and out of the mystical clouds. Thirlmere, Binka. Well, fancy that, I've met my sister.
Fancy meeting you up here.
And Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear. Oh, fancy that. I think this is Anita's favourite summit up here. So when you do the Wythburn Fells, you can make it as hard or as easy as you like. You can either avoid the rocky knolls and avoid the summits, just go up around the sides of them and head past them, or you can head up them. You just got to make your own way really. As there are no paths, just got to find it. Sorry, there I am. You've got to find the easiest ground. But if you go onto the tops of these Wythburn Fells, you do get great views down into Wythburn Valley. Drops off really steeply and you get cracking views. So atmospherical today, them clouds. You can see the great big basin, Wythburn Basin. So behind me is the Wythburn Valley. It's a beautiful walk along the Wythburn Beck. You've got beautiful waterfalls and you literally head up relatively steeply along the beck, following the waterfalls up. It's quite easy, well-defined path. You get to the top of the waterfalls and then the basin is a bog hole. There's no other word for it. It's boggy, it's wet, it's a bog. It's actually called the bog on the map. Yeah, you don't want to go down there. So that's Still Fell, and when you do Still Fell, that is the still edge you would follow. You can just see the tarns that you cross, that you go past to get onto the Calf or Calf Crag, whatever it's called.
Into the rest of the
yeah, the bog.
There's the bog.
That is the bog down there. As you can see what I mean about how wet that ground is after rain.
It is worth making just a little bit of an extra detour to this point.
It is. It is.
You've never been to this point?
I haven't.
No.
You get good views over like the Horseshoe, Helm
Yeah.
Crag,
Yeah.
and the bog.
Yeah.
So now we're going to start working our way up to Ullscarf. We have stuck to the edge. You don't have to do that. You can be a bit more direct, but you don't get this fantastic view otherwise. What do you think of that ground, you two?
Fabulous.
Hard work.
Oh, it's very off-piste, but the grass is getting shorter now and we're nearly up the summit of Ullscarf. Just a bit up there and we're there. Yay, we can do this.
I think it's quite a long way.
I was going to say it's quite a long way yet, isn't it?
Burst your bubble.
It is a long way.
Yeah, try and be positive.
This is the top of
There's
the
some nice tarns for dogs, for drinking. The view behind, look at this. What an open space.
I know.
This is the summit of Allscar. There we go, we've made it. So you've got Eagle Crag and Sergeant's Crag, the lower ones in the foreground. And you've got Glaramara behind, Allen Crags, Scarfell Pipe, which you can't see. You've got Rosset Pipe looking really magical right now. If you was on the summit there, clouds would be swirling about your head. And then High Raise. Oh, And look at it on the Honister Crag. See that, but look at the shape of the clouds now over there. So we're just leaving Ullscarf summit, heading towards Skidder in that direction. I think that's westerly, and we're heading on a grassy track over towards Standing Crag. Anita will show you the way. So you come to this kind of rusty, I don't know what it is, like just holes. Someone's left a glove on there. And you want to aim to the right hand side of it, over to the corner of that fence post to get to Standing Crag. Anita's going to show you the way. Now we've got to this fence corner. down that fence to the right hand side of the fence. Yeah, don't go to the left, to the right, to head for Standing Crag. So Anita is standing on the summit of Standing Crag, but the view that you get is right on the end there where you've got a cairn, so we'll take you there. So that is Wythburn Tarn down there. And you've actually got Whattenleth beyond that. So you've got High Seat, High Tove. You've got the Thirlmere Forest to the right. So you've got Harrop Fells. So that's Standing Crag. Just come down the right hand side of it and you get to this little grassy track. You just follow it down quite steeply, down a little bit of a gully, heading for the fence. This is a fence down there crossing that open moorland.
If it's slippery or not.
So this is the little gully that you head down. Got to go down with care. That's not too bad. Oh, he jumped it. I thought it was going to go straight through. So we're going to head along the fence, and that Spell Crag's in the distance. We haven't got time to do that today, So we're going to head to the middle ground and turn right down into the forest. So we're heading down very boggy path down towards the forest. But the lighting, look at the lighting on the crags there and the fells. I'm going to head down through the forest to Harrop Tarn. It's a beautiful path. Then they're on a proper track, and this will head all the way to Harrop Tarn in a bit. Harrop Tarn, beautiful Harrop Tarn. I'm going to leave it, and we've decided to go down by the Binka stone because we know that way is open at the bottom. You could alternatively head over there and up to Burke's Fell and down that way, but we're going to head along here straight down. Takes you to a really big boulder called the Binka stone. So we are heading, doing a diversion to the Binka stone, just so you can see. You'll probably get a better view of it down below, but we're going to stand on top of it, show you the view. Oh. So that's Burke's Fell and the Binka stone now, and you can come down. No, it looks horrendous, but it's not that bad. You can come down those crags there on the zigzaggy path, but down to the road as an alternative way down or up. This is the view on the Binka stone. So there's the Binka stone from down below. Mm.
can sit down and have a little paddle.
Sounds nice. Like a mangrove forest. The lake's that high. So we're back at the car. That was a good walk. We did 7.5 miles. It was lovely, and we went down by Thirlmere Lake on the way back. It was stunning, so clear and still. So we're going to head home. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Bye.
That's Andy saying bye.
Bye from me. Bye from Billy.
Billy's in the back. Being unsociable. Thanks for watching. Bye. So it's map time. Now the maps that we used for this walk are the Ordnance Survey maps, and it's the OL4 and the OL5. So we parked at Steel End Car Park, which is a United Utilities car park, and you now have to pay because the machine's working. It's about £7 for all day. But there's room for about 10-15 cars, maybe 10 cars. So we're heading up onto the beacon, which is the Wythburn Fells. So that's the beacon here. So you follow the road along, and it's not actually open for motor vehicles at the moment, so it's blocked here. So it's nice and peaceful and quiet, and you head along this footpath here. You get to a little sort of farmyard building, a barn, through a gate, and it's a lovely path over a lovely old stone slate bridge, through some trees. There's some pine trees along here, and you want to head on the access path on the far side of these trees, quite steep, through a gate onto this path here, which just traverses quite steeply up here. Quite a lot of crags along here, and you hit at the bottom of the crags on the footpath. Fantastic views over Thirlmere, over to Dunmel Raise, and the mountain range here, Helvellyn. So you head up. When you get to a wall, follow alongside the wall, bit of a boggy path, and you ignore the gate. The gate would take you down to Harrop Tarn. You want to stay this side, heading up, off-piste onto this ridge line, the Wythburn Fells. And you've got the beacon here. Great views again. A nice half-moon shaped wall. Not quite sure what the what use it was for. You head along this ridge line. It's quite undulating. There's no paths, you just make it up as you go along. Follow the best ground. You don't have to kind of go up onto this ridge, you can just stay down here, make it a bit easier. But if you want great views, you head up these rocky outcrops onto the tops. There's a few tops. You've got Wythburn Fell summit here, 508 metres. We actually carried on to this cairn to keep to this edge. You've got fantastic views again, very steep on Nab Crags. Got some gullies coming down here, makes it quite dramatic. And we headed along, we kept to the edge actually, up along Castle Crag with views down into the Wythburn Valley. Wythburn Beck along here, there's some beautiful waterfalls along here. And we stayed on the edge for as long as we could. Now, we're going to have to go to another map to get to Ullscarf, so I shall come back in a bit. So we're back on another map. So where I left off, we'd just headed onto Castle Crag. And really, this ground is no pass at all, so it's just free for all. You just follow whatever ground you want, whatever you want to do. There's no dangerous ground here at all. If anything, it's a little bit boggy in places, but there's no deep bogs. So we just continued along here over to Black Knot, a bit of a crag here, so this side of it, and straight up onto the summit of Allscar, 726 metres. We went down a little bit to get the view over to Eagle Crag and Sergeant's Crag. Great views of Glaramara, and there was a fantastic inversion going on over Glaramara, the Pillar and Scarfell and Bossett Pike. We sat there for a bit and watched that. Then we headed along the fence line. You've got a rusty fence, three-pronged fence here. Head to the right to get to another wooden fence. Junction here, you've got a junction of fences here. Keep on with the fences on your left hand side. You eventually get to Standing Crag. Brilliant viewpoint, very steep drop down off here. Great views to Harrop Tarn. We sat and had some lunch here, and then you follow along and you need to get down this little gully. There's a path down this, there's a little bit of a gully here. It's not too bad, it's not that steep. Head down to this fence line, get to this, there's a gate here which accesses to Harrop Tarn and Woodhenleth. You go right, very boggy along this path, very wet. Head down into Thirlmere Forest, follow along the footpath, it's a beautiful path, and we need to go back to the other map. So back on this first map, you go along the footpath through the forest, heading to Harrop Tarn. A lot of people like to camp here. It's got a beautiful setting of these tarn crags as a backdrop. You've got like a beck and some little stepping stones here, and there's also a bridge that you can cross. We'll need to cross this bridge because we're going to follow down to the Binka stone, which is the right hand side of the beck. So we head down here. Quite rough ground this is very boggy here, rough steps, rough ground, quite tricky. And we actually headed to the Binka stone because you get great views over Thirlmere. Back along to the path, down to a gate to access the Thirlmere road. You can either carry on along the road back to the car park, but we went through the gate and down to Thirlmere Lake, and the path just follows along all the way back to the car park. So it was about a 7.5 mile walk, and really nice. I say a lot of it was off-piste, no dangerous ground though to worry about, just maybe a few bogs and a bit wet underfoot.